Osun elections
Yeah.
have come and gone. I mean, they were
Yeah.
over the weekend, and they've announced the results.
Yeah.
And I feel like a couple of celebrities were quite in the news for this election.
Absolutely.
I mean, for various
The
reasons.
news. Sounds like Jude Bass's show.
You
Tonight in the news.
shout out to Jude Bass. So, what does the Osun elections reiterate about the power of Nigerian artists?
It's young people, bro. It's about young people.
Huh.
Young people are interested in some form of entertainment. Sports, movies, music, art, fashion, whatever. I mean, some form of, an element of pop culture. Some of them are interested in all. So, and when they're interested in people, nothing inspires emotion more than art or a form of it. It triggers emotion in a certain way and triggers loyalty, triggers followership. Because you're watching a movie or you're listening to a song that you're emotionally attached to, you're emotionally attached to a character. From then, it's not a coincidence that people in Nigeria used to call Nollywood actors by their names in their most popular movies. Ogogo, Ireti, Alade. Do you understand? It's not a coincidence that those things used to happen, right? And then Mr. Latin, or stuff like that. So with this, in the case of like artists, it's a spillover of the kind of things that they've earned over the years, and the kind of reps they've earned. It means people are interested in them in ways that maybe politicians, they are not interested in politicians. People think about Davido more than they think about politicians on a good day. The average Nigerian. Do you understand? Davido's content is more interesting than politics or current affairs, except it's bad news. People are only interested in current affairs when it's bad news. That's just life. So it's where we are as a people. And this one, again, it's another example of the influence of politicians celebrities or Nigerian artists to draw attention to political causes. It's another example because there was Davido on one side, there was Portable on the other side. And it was interesting, basically.
What makes Nigerian artists so popular and influential?
Like I said, nothing inspires people. Nothing triggers emotion more than art. But in the case of Nigerian artists, Nollywood is where Nigerian music was in 2003, 2002, late 90s, early 2000s. That's where Nollywood is right now, where Hollywood movies, Bollywood movies are cooler than homegrown movies to a lot of people. These days, Davido is not more popular. Drake is not more popular than Davido in Nigeria. Whatever Drake can do in Nigeria, Davido can do times 25. If Davido goes anywhere in this country, he will sell out at least 10,000, easy. Anywhere he goes in this country. Drake, the only places where Drake can sell out 10,000 in this country are Abuja, Lagos, and maybe Port Harcourt. He can't sell out 10,000 anywhere else. Like, it's going to create fear of missing out, but people are not going to sing his song back to back, word for word, not even in Lagos. You understand? But everywhere Davido goes, people are singing his songs back to him. So, bro, Nigerian music is on a different pedestal. It's cool now to know Nigerian music because it's not just cool for us anymore, it's cool for the rest of the world to listen to Nigerian music and to be invested in it. Giveon just tweeted, man, and Nigerian music has been in a chokehold. He tweeted some days ago, like 2 days ago or 3 days ago. It just shows you how there's a currency. The currency of Nigerian music right now is coolness. And everybody knows it. It's that simple.
Well, why do you think Nigerian artists have been subservient to politicians in the past?
Big man culture, bro. Funny enough, I was speaking to an OG of Nigerian music yesterday. We had a 1-hour conversation. And he said, big man culture is dead. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Look at it this way. In the past, Nigerian music most people were not earning directly from their music. Alaba was making a lot of music. If you were good enough, you earn some money from your CDs. If you're big enough, you might get like 30 million, 20 million, 15 million, 10 million. If you are big enough. But if you're not big enough, even till this day, your money is still coming from shows and endorsements and brand deals. Till now. That's where the chunk of the money still comes from. Not from streaming. For the biggest artists, not from streaming, not from anywhere. It's from brand deals and touring and live performances. So when you think about where people earn money from live performances, bro, do you think it was a coincidence that Fuji artists used to tour, like, they would tour places and come back and make albums off those tours? They go to Berlin, yeah, Jami Chicago, she was in Miami. Right? All these bands were men in the underworld that could afford to spray them and pay them money. Do you understand what I mean? Like, you couldn't invite Pasuma in the late 90s and not pay him like quality money. How many people could afford to pay him the amount he's worth in a post-military rule Nigeria? It's rich people, politicians, drug barons, man. Right? It's those people that could afford to pay them, men of the underworld. Now, the people that have replaced those boys, it's not Yahoo boys, bro. That's why you can say people ailing people in Miami. I mean, in Malaysia, because you can't blame them. These are the guys that can pay them. Those boys in Malaysia can close them and pay Portable 12 million, 15 million without thinking about it. So back to the issue of politicians. Politicians also guarantee them like influence, protection. They get into trouble, they can always get out. Big man culture, bro. Big man culture. And you know that if you are a part of a politician circle, election season, bro, you are cashing out. Big time, bro. Big time. So till now, people are just shaming them in public. When push comes to shove, my brothers still gotta collect their bag, man, and it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's not like I don't have a problem with it. I just don't think it's as easy as people criticizing. You can criticize them, but at the end of the day, if that's what their conscience picks, you can't criticize them, because at the end of the day, artists have to pick the side that they agree with. That's it.
All right. Do you think it's weird that Nigerian electorates don't want Nigerian artists to vote by their own?
That's what I was saying just now. So the reason why Nigerian electorate tries to criticize Nigerian artists is that in the past, Nigerian artists have picked sides that turned out not to be the good side. Do you understand? Now everybody wants Nigerian artists to vote to endorse Peter Obi because it's now, quote unquote, the cool candidate. But here's the thing: in 4 years, if Peter Obi turns out to be a horrible president, you are going to turn on the artists. Do you understand? So it means, regardless, artists have to pick a side because they are human beings with a civic duty. They have to vote. So if they decide to vote for someone that can pay them, then it's their problem. But the problem is just that people also feel like artists are very influential. Artists are very influential. So the moment they see someone endorsed by a couple of celebrities that they love, it's only important that a lot of those people's fans are going to also want to work with them. Like a lot of the fans. Imagine if Wizkid endorses, say, Peter Obi, for example. Wizkid FC is voting for Peter Obi. Do you understand? So people don't feel like it's misplaced a lot of time. A lot of the time it's misplaced. But the unfairness of it for artists is, the only way you can know if an artist is wrong is after 4 years. That's the only way. Right now, everybody is rallying. People are criticizing artists for supporting Buhari in 2015. But bro, Buhari was the co-candidate in 2015. Do you understand what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, Buhari was the cool candidate in 2015. Was it Jonathan? The only reason why you are not criticizing artists is because Buhari turned out to be a horrible president. So you can only, as much as tell artists to, you shouldn't force them and guilt-trip them and virtue signal them into doing what you want. You can't. I mean, I get what you're saying, but the only way you can know if an artist's choice is wrong is after 4 years. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if anybody is going to... Me personally, I'm going to vote for Peter Obi, but I have to live my choice if it turns out to be a shitty president. Do you understand what I mean? That's it. That's how I see it.
All right, so we're in election season. How do you think Nigerian artists can impact the 2023 election?
Man, the one thing I think people need to do is they need to PVC, influencer marketing via PVC. So make it as powerful enough, and voting and influencer marketing. On votes, like, Anytime a celebrity gets their PVC, I just got my PVC. You take a picture of it and post it across your social media. Do you know the amount of people you're going to make a lot of people go get their PVCs? Do you understand? That's one thing one way I think is going to happen. Number two, I think celebrities should also be very careful. I think they should also be responsible. I get the part of responsibility, but I don't think it's as much about responsibility as it is about us voting in a good government, a good presidency, a good leadership. So nobody knows what's going to happen. In 2015, we all thought Buhari was going to bring in change. He didn't. Do you understand? Like, maybe not all of us, but when I say we all, it was because we were reacting of the inadequacies of the previous government. So the only thing we can do right now is vote to the best of our ability. All the people on paper, they have something to go with. So I can't say that we should push artists to vote for a particular candidate. That would mean we are tainting their free will. Because it's a play for free will as well. So one way that I think we can, making people vote is important. Like people on Twitter don't vote. They don't vote. So if artists can create fear of missing out around getting your PVCs and voting, then I think they would have won. That's the only way that I think they can do. As regards inspiring people to vote for a particular candidate, I think artists should vote as it pertains to their conscience. And they should be able to live with the results of their decisions. Does that make sense? You can't force artists to vote for a preferred candidate. That's how I say it. I think we're done, right?
Yeah.
And that's factual.